Good morning from Moto Z up here in upstate New York. We have one of our brand new Stark Varg EX Dual Sports on hand to finally do a video that you all have been asking me for. I did a video a long time ago on the MX model and it kind of got buried in YouTube, so we're going to do a new video. Go on YouTube. Stark themselves has a video on how to get it to this point right now, which is to strip your bodywork off so you can access the internals of the bike, basically, including the carbon fiber piece that would cover this area also. So as you can see, we basically have the line pre-routed. So there is clips that actually will hold what would have been the hand line on your handbrake conversion for the Stark conversion kit. So our Clake Stark Dual conversion kit. And then you end up back behind the number plate, and that would be your master cylinder mounting up here. But there is clips along the chassis that will actually hold the hose in place. And it does drop down behind your gear case. There's a little rubber piece in it that protects it from rubbing on the engine or the motor case. And then you'll end up down here on top of your, what would be your rear brake master cylinder diaphragm holder. So basically get something of a crescent wrench or a socket, whatever you can possibly fit in here. There's not a lot of room, honestly, as far as getting stuff onto it. Knock that cover loose. You're not gonna use this, but save it, because one of your KTM Husqvarna buddies might want this later, because it's a standard KTM Husqvarna fitment for Brembo. Set that aside, and then I already did this before I started this video, is drain this down, and if you look way down at the very bottom, there's a little ledge way down in the bottom of this body. There's a little ledge down in there. There we go. So now you can see there's actually a little machined lip all the way at the very bottom down in there. The reason for draining this fluid is that when you go to put your adapter in, if you don't do that, it will hit the ceiling when you drop it in there, because there'll be way too much brake fluid in there. So now you have, this is the Clake Stark adapter piece for your rear brake. Recluse does sell something similar to it. This one has more volume, a larger fitting through it, so we prefer this company's product. Very carefully clip your zip ties, and you will find the O-ring. This is the infamous O-ring that some people are having trouble with. Do not try to take this and put this in with it. You will cut it, you will nick it, and what ends up happening, you will blow this you'll blow the rear brake sight glass out of it, because there shouldn't be brake pressure here at this window once this is installed correctly. So take your O-ring. I just use my fingers. You're gonna get a little bit of brake fluid on your finger. If you wanna put a glove on, go ahead and get a glove. And when you get it down to the very bottom, past the sight glass, it will sit square to the ground on a little ledge in there. And there it is. So if we can possibly get a camera view down in there. This is the key to this kit, is not catching that O-ring. So that O-ring is sitting down on a little ledge in there, square to the ground. And now you can take your adapter piece. You do not need the O-ring on here. It doesn't need anything. It has a vent built in basically, but you don't need anything. Don't try to put your stock O-ring on here. And pretty much it should go all the way down to where it starts touching threads, knowing that you haven't touched that O-ring yet. And as you start threading it in, right about here, you can actually start feeling the tension from it starting to go into that O-ring. And then basically, just snug it down lightly. You don't need to go nuts cranking this thing down. You're basically squishing the O-ring a little bit. And now you're ready for your banjo bolt, your line. And if you look, I reduced the fluid, so there's just a little bit of fluid at the bottom here. I probably could have left a tiny bit more, but there's a little bubble of fluid. It's probably about here. So now you're ready to put your banjo bolt, your line, crush washers, and then the next step from here, other than mounting your master cylinder, your handlebar, is to come back here to this caliper. There's two ways you can do this. This is how we definitely recommend bleeding it, is with a syringe bleeder at this fitting. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this part of the brake fluid and push it into our kit, and then you're refilling this with an outside fluid source. You can either put Teflon tape on this banjo bolt, or honestly, you just basically tuck a paper towel under there. A little bit of fluid's gonna come out of here because the threads will leak a little bit, but basically you're ready to put your syringe bleeder on. And here's how I figured out that works the best. is to open this bleeder up and basically get it to where fluid is sitting right at the very end of this bleeder. So that means this whole body is full of fluid. Take your syringe bleeder, just like a doctor does on TV, stand it on end, squish it a little bit, and basically get it to where fluid is at the end of the bleeder hose. And then as you're pushing a little bit on it to start moving a little bit of fluid, push it on the end of this bleeder, and now you're gonna have 99% air-free fluid going into here, heading up to your master cylinder. And you're gonna syringe bleed it until you start seeing fluid all the way up in your master cylinder reservoir. And from there, it's just a matter of finishing putting your bodywork all back on. And then if you seem like you have a little bit of a mushy lever still at the handlebar, at the master cylinder, take your handlebars and turn it back and forth and just lightly run the lever as you're going full left, full right. And more than likely, it's just air stuck in the master cylinder because it's never had fluid in it. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a shout at the shop. But this, hopefully, especially this area, this O-ring was the key to most of people's problems. And I'm really sorry about that. We should have done a video earlier. But put the O-ring in here first and make sure it is square. You can almost see this little machined area right here. Make sure it is square to the floor or the ground before you even attempt to put this black piece in. Because if you try to put the O-ring in with this black piece, you will cut it, nick it. And as soon as you start putting brake pressure to the system, you'll blow this sight glass out because it can't handle. So right now there probably is fluid on this, but it doesn't need to be. This can be bone dry at this sight glass because it doesn't matter anymore. You're heading straight through this body and not using this at all. It's just there to hold this adapter. I think that's it. If you have any questions, please give us a call at the shop or on the website, motoz.net, and have a good day.